What's going on, guys? It's Adrian Hawkins of HawkFit bringing you another video. Today we're going to continue what we put up last week in dealing with the hips and lower back. Whereas last week we did hip flexors, lower back, and hamstring. This week we're going to focus on the front. So we're going to deal with hips and hip flexors again, but we're going to deal with it from the perspective of your abs or your internal abdominal muscles.
So last time we worked on the flexibility of the lower back, and we determined that the lower back flexibility comes from the flexors, but also we determined that the hamstrings, if the hamstrings are tight, then flexing your body forward is kind of limited, and that's something that you can improve on by stretching those hamstrings, and the hamstrings being longer because they're attached to the bottom part of your pelvic girdle, which is the ischial-tuberosities. From there, today we're going to work on our core, and the core, to some people it might mean the superficial rectus abdominis, but we're talking about the flexors again, which also affect your extension ability on your lower back and flexion ability. A lot of people have lower back pain. A lot of times the lower back pain is coming from tight flexors. So here's the iliacus, and then there's the psoas. So these psoas are attached or originate from the lumbar, starting from L1, L2, L3, L4 up to L5. And you have the minor one, the minor and the major psoas. The major psoas really play a big part in that. So if these are tight, you find people kind of bowing while they're walking, or their toes are pointed outward because the flexors are so tight and the glutes are becoming smaller or atrophied. Therefore, you have rotated toes or externally rotated feet. So today we're working on that, the psoas, and that's what we'll do today, and that's your core. So let's lay down.
All right, lay down.
Move down that way. So for you it would be your right side because your right side was kind of tender to that. It's limited. Range of motion is restricted. Well, you lift a lot of heavy stuff, a lot of heavy weights. But right now, I'm digging into, and there's ropiness in there for him. So we would bend it, and I'd take my hand, and I'd dig into that. Flexors, butterflies, single-sided.
And I'm trying not to tense up right now, but it's hard knowing that it's going to be sensitive. He's going to start pushing right on some things that are sensitive.
So all I'm doing is I am tracking the movement or where it starts at, which is right in there, and the gracile, that's that ropiness there that he's feeling.
Yeah, he's pushing right on.
And I'm tracking down where the psoas is going, and I'm going right into the distal part of it, all the way to the proximal part of it. And I know he feels that, but it's for his own good.
It's a painful good. No, it's not. It's just painful. I'm trying so hard right now to not push him off of me.
And then we bring it in, stretch. And then I'll use this side, but I'm going to do it once here because I think he needs it. Move up this way a little bit.
All right. So right now, because you can't see it, he's just pulling my leg back towards my buttocks.
Right on that flexor. So what I did with that was, come on this side so we can illustrate that.
All right.
Flex the knee. My hand is within that groin corner, and that loosens up the flexor. I'm right in there, and I'm rotating it. He's kind of tight on this way too.
I'm tight everywhere.
I mean, it takes work. It's not just a cup of tea. You can see what I'm doing.
Oh, that feels so good. Not the finger, but the stretching.
And then back. And then we do that.
So now would this be weighted butterfly?
Yeah, weighted. And as I'm going along with the seamless there.
And by weight, I mean just gently pushing down,
Yeah.
adding some resistance. For about how long?
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
So you probably edit that, but that's kind of how long you hold, and every time you give it just a little bit more push. And if you feel it slipping away, you bring it back and you push again. So meanwhile, you can also,
Should your butt be tight while you're doing this?
no,
Or should it be loose?
you're just tight because you're reacting to it right now.
Because I find myself when I start the stretch, like if I'm at home
You tighten up.
stretching, I tighten up, my hips will lift off the ground a little bit, but usually by about the second or third time I do the stretch, I find that my butt is relaxed. I'm not relaxed right now.
Yeah, his right side is really, really tight. It's pushing me up. Literally pushing me up. Okay, 4 minutes up to that.
All right.
Then of course I'll do what again, I'll adjust it. So to reset that, the work has to be where he holds it together and resist. 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 Then I loosen up, he pulls it in subtly, and that resets his pelvic girdle. And then we do that again, push. One more time. You resist, resist. Okay. And then turn facing that way.
Yeah. It's funny because I can do quite a bit of weight on the hip, abductor, and adductor. But just doing that was a little bit of a struggle.
So leg facing that way, and we're going to do that cross stretch.
Okay.
Yeah?
Like this.
Yeah. And I'm countering, because the flexors go all the way out to his lumbar number. So there it is. That's the stretch that I do, but you can hear it's adjusted, didn't it? Did you feel the adjustment?
Oh yes.
Same thing again. And this you can do, you stand in between his legs or her legs. And then from the top part, there.
I had more cracks on the second one.
And that tells you that tells you what side is tighter. The right side
Right
is
side.
tighter. And I was able to get more movement on that side. Even though we've done some flex work on there. And then up.
All right.
Good.
Yeah,
Like
like
that.
butterfly.
And then now you grab him and you pull. And while he does that, someone can do push-ups on your leg. So like that. You get someone to do push-ups while you are holding that stretch. You feel that stretch?
I feel it. I feel the stretch. So we're walking after he's done this. I feel quite a bit right here, especially in the front, right in the groin region. on the inside, going down. I mean, obviously this is what he was working on, the attachment, a lot of the stress. I think a lot of the hip stress that I got came from doing the DUP, if you've watched the other series that I've done. Squatting and deadlifting 3 times a week for 4 weeks, that was very taxing on the hips, and I think that's why they got as tight as they did, as fast as they did. If I was just doing a regular bodybuilding workout, I don't think I'd be this tight. So if you're a power lifter, take notes.
That's it. Well, there. So we wanted to kind of get on his flexors today. Last time we had him doing that. For that. So the next time, and it'll be lateral and lateral. But for today, we had him doing the core. So an exercise that I want you to do for you is as you walk, you can come on out this way. You can bring, is where when you're walking, we want you to walk, and you bring it out. Sorry. You bring it out. You bring it out. You're really trying to hide. And as you do that, you're bringing that pelvis all the way out there to allow it to come backwards to reset. Come backwards and reset. It's the people who you see doing a lot of these are soccer players, hurdlers, people who do hurdles, and even football players will see them do that. Bodybuilders just don't think that they should be doing that because I guess they're too big, I don't know. But this is a very important growing way to loosen. Even me, just from doing that, I feel my SIs have really been moving back and forth at each other. All right, so I'll let you try that. You go ahead and as you walk, you really, really lift it high and turn. Higher than that. And aggressive. Yeah, aggressive. Get it. There you go.
All right.
And then come back. Go backwards. No, walk backwards. Walk backwards. Yeah, and let it walk you backward. Let it match you backward. Really reach back there without turning your upper body. There you go. Oh, did you hear that clickety click?
I heard it.
Oh my goodness. That's how tight that guy is. There you go. Really reach. And then come forward. Really come forward from back there. There you go. Good. Like as if you're going over a hurdle. A high hurdle. A high hurdle. A high hurdle. Good. I'll let you tell him how that feels. Tell him how that feels.
I can feel it on the last ones. When I do that, about right there, I can feel it just rubbing a little bit. Obviously, you guys heard, or hopefully I
heard it was very audible.
There was a few pops and clicks. This one had one, but it was really quiet, but I could feel it.
That's a sartorius. Those tight sartorius.
This.
When's the last time you stretched your sartorius?
Probably the last time you did it.
And you think that's going to remember that all these weeks, huh?
Oh man, so at home I've been doing a lot of butterfly stretches if I'm just sitting down watching TV, or if I'm reading a book, I'll sit down and kind of do the butterfly stretch. I've been sitting on my couch and just pulling back to just stretch it.
Okay.
But sometimes you got to be a little more active than just that.
So what we're doing is you're swinging it out hard enough so that it's opening that. I'll let you go do that. Nice and hard. Swing it out of the socket if you can. There you go. On your tippy toe on the one on the ground. Tippy toe, the one on the ground is tippy toe. Yeah, there you go. All the way. Windmill. All the way. Tippy toe. Now switch. Tippy toe up. Tippy toe. Go on your tippy toe. There you go. Up. Up. Good. Good. And as you do that, you want to feel that hip really come up and turn your foot so it's outward. Open it. There you go. Open it. Open it. That's good. Yeah, that's it. What does that feel like?
The first one,
Yeah.
very tight. So my right leg, very tight. Towards the end, it felt better. But when I did my left leg, I felt like my left leg got higher than my right leg.
All right, well, you
If
need
that
to work
makes
on
sense. So it's the right leg being dominant, being tight, all these years of work. And we need to obviously loosen it up, strengthen it, let the left leg or the left side catch up, and then build up that strength from there so that we can get even more weight when we're squatting, when we're deadlifting. You know, maybe it'll even help on some back movements, like a bent over row. So the goal of this is to gain strength.
Yeah. All right, so another thing is you cannot forget that roller, the rolling foam, which is right here. You can't forget that's your buddy or buddy. So remember how you talked about you rolling on that foam. Do you remember?
Last week, if you guys watched the video, we had the foam roller. We couldn't use the half size, it wasn't big enough. But now we've got this full size. You know, it's almost the length, half the length of my body. Just make sure you have an appropriate length foam roller. Stretch it out when you're laying down, as such. Stretch out the back when you're sitting down.
You got it, man. You got it.
All right.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right.